no, don't compare.
And they
Don't
shorten your
compare
dress. They would
yourself
never
to me.
They would
ever.
never make you
are.
If you've ever found yourself scrolling through Instagram, comparing your life with somebody else's, and then leaving the app feeling like absolute shit, this is the video for you. When you look at your life and you look at someone else's life and compare the things that you've achieved, how bad do you feel? I've been in cases before where I have literally done that exact same thing, and I have felt super depressed and really rubbish about myself, feeling worthless, almost sometimes feeling jealous, maybe feeling competitive. This is not cute. It's actually the most counterproductive thing you can do if you want to achieve those things. People have compared themselves through the jobs that they are doing, the things that they've accomplished, relationships that they're in, and I am a person that can hold their hands up and say I have done all of those things. I have compared myself to a job, how much salary I'm earning compared to the next person. I've compared myself based on how I look, because I've always been super skinny and the society norm or look is to be super thick. I've compared myself on like how many achievements I've made as a small content creator. The list goes on. It's ridiculous. By the end of this video, you'll have learned some practical ways on how you can actually start to break through those toxic thoughts on how to compare yourself. And we'll just start as well by saying that not all comparison is toxic, but when it starts to make you feel bad about yourself, that's when we need to draw the line and work on ways to actually break through that. But don't worry, I've managed to get through stages of feeling like that, and I literally never do this anymore. And you can too. Let's talk about why we compare, like what comparison actually is and where it comes from. A lot of the time we start to compare ourselves because of social media and social pressures. It's definitely gotten worse since social media has gotten about, because back in the day you would have like your grandfather working in a factory and he probably would not even know what other people were doing and what amazing experiences are happening, because you just didn't have access to that information. At most it was a newspaper or being told something by a letter, and he would just get on with his life and he was so happy and content. And that's why people in that generation, our grandparents' generation, tend to be far more content. But social media throws stuff in our faces, so that's one reason why we end up comparing ourselves a lot more. Social pressures is another one as well. Wanting to be the best, achieve the best. We want to get a new house, particularly if you live in a city like London like me. Everybody is in this constant rat race of wanting to earn. You want to get on the property ladder, you want to be making 6 figures, you want to have loads of followers. It's ridiculous. We are always running this constant race. There is actually a psychology behind this, which is called the social comparison theory, and this was invented by a guy called Leon Festinger, who was a famous psychologist. And essentially one of the findings that he had was that people who compared themselves would essentially find a little bit of motivation to improve, but also they would sometimes feel a lot of deep feelings of depression, and that is one of the side effects of comparison. There is this scale, this social comparison theory scale, where it's basically ranked on like positive self-comparison and negative self-comparison. We tend to compare ourselves in a positive way when we look at somebody that's not doing so well, and it makes us feel good. So we can compare this to, for example, when you've done an exam and you find out that people in your class maybe haven't done as well. It makes you feel better, you feel validated by it. You think to yourself, well, I'm just smart and they're just super lazy. But when you compare yourself to someone that's sometimes doing very well, we make ourselves feel super bad about it, and you then say to yourself, I don't deserve it, I'm not working hard enough, and it can become super negative. It makes you feel bad because you think to yourself, thank God, because things could be so much worse for me. You can look at people that are doing super well and it will motivate you and you want to do a little bit better. You can also compare yourself to somebody that's doing super well and you can start to feel jealous by it and tell yourself it's not fair that they're doing so well. Either way, on this scale, it will eventually lead to something negative. Now, comparing yourself to people that are doing super well and wanting to achieve something positive and allowing it to motivate you is good, but in small doses. As with all of these things, they can bear an element of something positive, but we cannot depend on comparing ourselves to make ourselves better about our overall journey. Comparison, as I said, isn't always bad, but it can become negative. It can lead to things like self-doubt. I used to compare myself a lot to other content creators, and it actually led me to stopped creating content for years because I used to think that I just wasn't good enough and I wasn't doing very well. I then sat there and watched people come and go past me because I wasted time just sitting there thinking to myself, my content isn't good enough. I would literally film content and not put it up because I would see people creating content and it was so much more advanced, when actually I should have just carried on doing what I was doing. And actually my content was okay. There was absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's just because I was comparing myself to other people that were in my field and doing smashingly. It made me feel super inadequate, but I had to reframe my mindset because I thought to myself, I can't keep comparing myself because I'm going to be 40 years old having not achieved half of the things that I've wanted to achieve in my life. I could have at least done something and made something of myself in that time. It may not be what that other person has, but I could at least start and create a journey for myself that looks amazing and makes me feel better about myself. I can't keep going on social media feeling resentful to people that are doing super well because they are pursuing their passions. I'm resentful for somebody pursuing their passions when I have the ability and I can do the same things for myself. So when I started to think about these things, I started thinking and caring about how good other people were doing. And I've enjoyed every second of restarting my social media because it's my journey. And I always think that if you really want something, you will work towards it. I'm going to share some practical tips on how I stopped comparing myself. So the first one is to curate your social media feed. Unfollow accounts that are going to make you feel like you are comparing yourself, and if it's too much to unfollow them, just put them on mute. That way it is out of sight, out of mind. And start following people, on the other hand, who inspire you to do better, that inspire you to feel better. I follow a whole load of quote pages, I follow loads of gym pages because I absolutely love going to the gym. I follow motivational speakers. I follow pages that are to do with comedy and entertainment because these things make me laugh when I go on social media and not do the opposite. Start curating your social media feed to embodying loads of accounts like that, and I'm sure you can find some too. When I curated my social media feed, it started to make me feel a lot better because I would go on my account, like I said, and I would sit there and laugh when I saw things, rather than sitting there seeing somebody on a beach in Bali in a bikini. Tip number 2 is just focusing on your own journey. When you compare yourself to other people, you start to really focus on what other people are doing and not focusing on this beautiful life that you have here. Everything that everybody else is doing around you, you also have the ability to do. But if you were too busy focusing on what that person and this person is doing, you are not going to be paying any attention to yourself, so you are going to wither away, and then you are going to start feeling even worse about yourself, and you are going to allow the self-doubt to just continue to pile in, and it starts getting worse. Start focusing on yourself, and the way to do this is by setting yourself some goals and actually getting up and working towards them. My main motivator is that I am doing it for me. I'm not doing it for anybody else. I'm doing it because I want to feel better. I want to have a good life for myself. Stop living by somebody else's timeline. Start comparing your journey with somebody else. If I want a house really badly and I have a friend that was given a house, I am not going to compare myself to them because they were handed something. I am working on it. There's a complete difference. Why am I going to unfairly compare myself and then make myself feel bad because they were given something and I'm working for it? We're different people, and actually a lot of the time when we compare ourselves to other people, we don't know the sacrifices and things that have been made for that person to achieve it. We don't know actually what's going on in that person's head. A lot of the time when we envy other people or we covet what other people have, they actually are doing the same thing with somebody else and they're not happy too. Set your own goals and go at your own pace. What is it that you really want to do in life? What are the things that you would like to achieve? Do you want to learn a language? Do you want to learn how to cook? Do you want to be that girl that runs a 5k? Do you want to eat better? Do you want to have great relationships around you? Figure it out. Whatever it is that you want to do, and break them out into smaller goals and start working towards them. And just remind yourself that people are only going to share with you the best parts. They are not putting on social media all the times when they have failed at doing something, the sleepless nights they've had, and they've felt miserable. They are not posting this stuff. You are only seeing the best parts. Try and remember to yourself that social media really is pretty far from real life. You can remind yourself through this from when you're taking pictures of yourself. You will take about 100 pictures of yourself before you find that one picture that you actually want to post. And that is exactly the same for everything on social media. They have had 100 different experiences before they have shared that one experience. So don't compare yourself to that one that they've tried to show you. Remember, there is a wider picture. I started to focus on myself with going to the gym, and yes, I could compare myself to other people who have gone to the gym and they have beautiful, amazing bodies, but I try to remember to myself that actually this is a journey, it is not a race, and at some point, if I keep going, I'm going to look amazing too, and I'm going to look fit and healthy and fabulous. I would start on super low weights, pushing at 2 kilos, and I would look at people that were doing like triple, quadruple the amount as me, and I would think to myself, eventually I'm going to be there. And guess what? Yes, eventually I am there, and I'm completely even past that now. Practice your gratitude and celebrate your wins. Shift your focus from what you don't have and start focusing on what you do have and what you can do rather than what you can't do. These are things that are going to help you to feel so much better about your life and your journey. Keep a little comparison journal, or even just put these in your notes. You can write down moments when you start to feel envy and turn it into motivation. For example, if I look at someone's page and they are working out, rather than sitting here feeling bad about it, I can write that down on my notes and say, okay, working out, why am I feeling bad about watching that person working out? Likelihood is it's because I'm not working out. So what do I need to do? I need to start working out. If I see somebody with beautiful hair and I feel really jealous about it, or I start comparing myself, I'm obviously doing that because I would like to have nice beautiful hair. So what can I do to start achieving nice beautiful hair? I'd start researching into it. I'd find some vitamins, I'd find a hairdresser, I would start protecting my hair, I would invest in new hair care products. This is how you turn it into a catalyst for motivation, rather than making yourself feel like crap. Limit social media and be present. Set your screen time limits and remember to detox away from social media. I keep banging on about this, but I believe that one of the main reasons why we all compare ourselves and make ourselves feel so bad is because we are absorbing things from social media and internalizing it. Engage in hobbies and activities that you enjoy, and if you don't have a hobby or an activity you enjoy, that's where to start. Start looking around, find Facebook groups where people are doing it, find Instagram groups where people are doing things that you like to do. Start cooking, start baking, start going for walks, start painting, start drawing, start colouring, whatever it is. These are hobbies, these are things that you do outside your 9 to 5, outside of your student course, and they actually will make you feel better about yourself. Tip number 5 is adopting a growth mindset. See other people's success as evidence that these things can happen for you too. If you see somebody doing super well, use this as your proof that this can happen for you as well. Change the why them and it's not fair to if they can do it, so can I. Because you can. It's only you that's telling yourself that you can't. Remember the quote, "Comparison is the thief of joy," by Theodore Roosevelt. So let's go back on those points that we discussed as a recap. Number 1, create your social feed. Start unfollowing accounts that make you feel crap and follow accounts that make you feel good. Number 2, focus on your own journey. Set your own goals and start working towards them. Number 3, practice gratitude and celebrate those wins. Shift your focus from what you don't have to what you do have. Number 4, limit your social media and be present. Start setting time limits and start detoxing. Number 5, adopt a growth mindset. Stop thinking about why you can't have things and use people's successes as proof that you can achieve those things. And that is it. Those are my top tips from how you can stop comparing yourself and how you can stop feeling jealous and how to live your best life. Which of these tips resonated the most with you? Give me a comment below, let me know. Make sure you subscribe and follow my Instagram for more. Bye.